of height, and the dreams that you dream of once in a love.
Welcome, Aries, to the Temple of Tarot, Astrology, and Yoga. My name is Ava, and I'm inviting you into my temple for your November 2025 Astro Tarot forecast, a reading involving both astrology and the tarot, which includes as well a yoga pose at the end of the reading, one I choose for you specifically to either emphasize various energies or to decrease negative energies. And so please wait for that as well. So thank you for being here, and thank you for subscribing. And if you would like a private and personal reading after you watch this one, I'll leave a link below in the description box. I've been reading on YouTube for 9 years, and I've been reading professionally for over 40. I'm a Pisces, Scorpio rising, born in 1952, the year of the water dragon. So now you know me. So now let's get to know you. Aries. This month, the two planets that I follow, Venus and Mars, are in very intense sectors, houses. You see, Mars, let's start with Venus. Venus is in Scorpio, which is your 8th house. The 8th house is the most intense house, ruled by Scorpio. So the house is ruled by Scorpio, and you have Venus in Scorpio. This intensifies it even more. What this means, let me give you the sort of brief descriptive words for the house. Sex, death, taxes, partnerships, shared resources. Any or all of these points may be intensified, energized by the symbolic presence of Venus. Venus brings luck, good fortune, love, compassion, and even money to whatever it touches. And so it pulls at your heartstrings in relationship to these issues. Now, what is death? Death can either be taken literally, that is, someone close to you or within your sphere of influence dies, which then brings deep feelings of loss and compassion and heartbreak. If that were the outcome of this interpretation, that is a literal death. But if it's not a literal death, it's the death of something that you've been doing, some relationship you've been having, some work you've been involved in, some situation that has been very intense comes to an end. if it's about partnerships, shared resources, this is the deepening of that relationship, provoking compassion from you, provoking love from you. So you bring love into your partnerships, business or romantic. And you bring in value, money. You contribute financially to your partnerships, to your most important exchange of feelings is heightened, intensified. So be aware of that. And if it's taxes, well, it's money owed to the government, or the money that's owed to you from the government or from some institution, some official institution. So there's restitution, there's a rebalancing of your financial obligations, and a compassionate outcome. The government has compassion on you, or you have compassion on someone else who owes you, legally even. So this is the tremendous mix of possibilities with Venus in the 8th, an intensification of sexuality as well. A deep attraction can take place that has a sexual nature to it. And or you are very much in touch with your sexual needs, and you become aware of any attraction that you're experiencing around you. It becomes a part of what is giving you motivation, that's steering your affection in a certain direction towards someone who is sort of like a twin flame. So now, Mars, on the other hand, Mars being a planet representing more ambitious, driven energy, determined energy, or just raw energy, is in your 9th house of higher learning, philosophy, spiritual learning, philosophical learning. This combination of higher learning and a need to explore your world, to explore your intellectual and spiritual parameters, and to expand them out, combined with Venus in the 8th. This is a sort of a transformation of, through your beliefs and through your relationships, through a certain ending, a major ending of something, be that, as we were saying, a death of a person or a death of a situation, brings intense learning and spiritual transformation. So passion coupled with purpose is what this is about. Mars pushes you to act on your ideals, while Venus makes you emotionally hungry. So to crave then a deeper level of connection. So it can result in a passionate, purposeful, purpose-driven relationship and intense sexual or creative partnerships. There's also possible travel through your partnerships or from the obligations you have towards government, or their obligations towards you. You could also meet someone while traveling and be spiritually broadened in your perspective. So it's emotional or financial merging together. There's a deep merging of your financial world with your emotional world. That's what's going on astrologically. So I'm very interested now to see what the repercussions of this are through the tarot. So thank you very much for joining me. And if you need a personal and private reading, as I said, there's a link below. I'm very grateful for your support. Thank you. So let's move on to your tarot forecast. So welcome, Aries, to your tarot forecast for November 2025. And this is, again, relevant to you if your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign is Aries. I have Jupiter in Aries, and I have a brother who's Aries, and I have a landlord who's Aries. So now with having a landlord who comes by quite frequently, actually, and to chat and to let me know what's going on in our very small but glorious sanctuary here in Hawaii. I've gotten to know the personality of Aries much better, and I've learned to appreciate some of the extraordinary qualities that Aries has. Aries is very forthright, bold, courageous, iconoclastic, and generally they are people who keep their word. And these are sterling qualities in any kind of community, enterprise, or in a family. Very valuable traits. So Aries, let's get going with your reading. So we have a very intense lineup for Venus and Mars. Some very passionate, intense events, relationships, occurrences may very well take place. And you could even travel with a partner or by yourself, or just find different ways of perceiving reality through the eyes of your partner or through some kind of transformative event. Let's put in 2 random reversals, and then we're ready to start your reading. So we have this, and let's just go like this, and we're ready. In the position of the overall thematic mood or energy of the month of November for you, Aries. Woo! Party! It is time to party. Look at this. We have the Three of Cups, symbolizing celebration, cooperation, the merging of intellectual, spiritual, emotional talents. This is about getting together with those who have the same intentions, but come to the table with different skill sets and creating a harmonic balance between these entities, the coming together of community, raising their glasses, their cups to one another, appreciating each other's contribution to this either event, enterprise, or occasion. Everyone is in a mood of celebration, sharing emotional, intense needs, wants, and desires. So celebrating emotional exhilaration. That's Venus in the 8th. So there's reason to celebrate. Let's see what your challenge is in this mood of celebration. Page of Wands. Pages are about messages, positive messages, to do with your career or to do with some initiation of a project that has creative roots. Here we have a page, a young man who is holding on to a wand. The wand represents spiritual journeying, spiritual attainment. He has an idea. That one wand represents that idea, that spiritual inspiration. And he is using this inspiration to travel, to explore, to gain more wisdom and knowledge. That's your challenge. You see the pyramids behind him? The pyramids represent the exotic, anything beyond the borders of the familiar. So your challenge is to go beyond the borders of what is familiar. That wand can represent your career, your work, your skill set, or it could represent passion, emotional desire, which could be expressed through a relationship or your art. Traveling for a relationship, traveling for your art, exploring spiritually, philosophically, Mars in the 9th. That's your challenge. All right. Let's see what the unexpected has for you. Well, in the midst of all this expansion, there's an unexpected curtailment, bound by some restriction. We have the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords shows someone bound, blindfolded, with the swords behind them. They're stuck in the mud. See the feet in the mud, in the water and the ground, creating sort of a situation where you feel you're stuck. You don't have clarity. You don't feel you can move freely. Something surprising, something that is surprising, unexpected happens that keeps you bound to a situation, bound intellectually. You don't know how to get out of a certain dilemma, a certain conundrum. You're trying to figure it out. So for a spell, during all this glorious celebration and expansion of your spiritual, philosophical, and physical boundary, ironically, we have something that pulls you in, that restricts you, that keeps you in place, that for the moment causes you to feel fettered, chained to something, bound to something. It's all intellectual. It's all in your mind. That's what swords are, about the mind, the restrictions of the mind. Something in your mind is preventing you from experiencing the boundlessness of the energy that's available. Maybe fear. Fear that you don't have all the knowledge, all the information, you're feeling the sentiment being that you're confused, you're self-limiting. That's what is unexpected. But let's see now how it ends. This is very interesting. Well, the Nine of Wands. You see the gentleman who's holding that single wand? Well, he's got a Band-Aid or he's got dressing around his head because he's been wounded. And the look on his face is one of a little bit of paranoia. So whatever restrictions or confusion or prohibition that's taken place, something that you're prohibited from, that you don't feel you can move forward because something stands in your way that's created an obstacle to forward movement. Well, the 9 is just before the 10. So this is a stage before culmination. And he's a little paranoid because he's been hurt before. And so he's wary, on guard. So there's this mood here of, well, I've been hurt before by someone or some experience, and now I'm not taking it for granted that we're going to finish this anytime soon. But you're at least now devoid of that blindfold and those bindings. You're free to move. It's just that you are tainted by the previous experiences of being wounded or hurt or in some way handicapped. And now you're just wary, sort of very maybe justified paranoia about it not happening again. So you're just on alert. You're on alert. It's a very interesting reading because the top half of the reading is about this state of mind of being cautious and guarded about making any taking any further action. Yet you feel that there is an ultimate realization of a perfect union, a perfect mix of energies that's available to you in a community project or a collaborative effort of some sort is blessed. And there's nothing but joy and love available for you. You have to expand your parameters. Humbly accept that you don't know everything and that you need to learn more, experience more. And so you're willing here, that's your challenge, is to expand out your horizons, philosophical, spiritual, intellectual, and physical. An unexpected event or circumstance restricts you, keeps you from making forward progress. Then you are freed from that restriction, but you're wary, cautious, attentive to every person, every situation, so that you are not hurt again or wounded again. So, nonetheless, this is about being ready for the worst, but experiencing the best. Maybe Aries can sometimes tend to be pessimistic or overly self-analytical. And the Eight of Swords is about intellectual fatigue, overthinking, overanalyzing, which can lead to a sense of being ready in case you should get hurt again. If this is talking about a relationship, you see we've got Venus in the 8th house of partnerships. So you could just be going through a stage in which you have to trust again, have faith, experience deep rapport
as opposed to picking out the differences or picking out those things that are not compatible. So it's just a month of developing trust, recognizing the good in others, and broadening your experience horizons through partnerships, through shared resources and events. That is your forecast for November 2025. Thank you very much for coming to your reading. And if you need help figuring out your own personal situation, there's a link below. I'd love to help you, and we'll consult your guardian angels for their divine advice.